Merry meet my lovelies. I know it has been a long time for those of you who have followed my socials and followed the book series and the Wolflock cases. And first off, I want to say sorry for that. But for everyone who is new, and for everyone who is old, and everyone who is in between, I want to lay this down. This is the fourth day of the Unleash the Power Within seminar, incredible journey it should be called instead, and what I've done is make some commitments, because for me, not being an author, not working as an author, doesn't feel like I'm honouring my essence. Ever since I was a child, the first thing that I learnt when you could write stories was start writing stories. It was part of me. I bleed ink, and the words I weave spell magic through the air. Stories for me change lives. As someone who grew up where all you had were these mismatched copies of books that were midway through a series or partway through a series, and knowing that those stories were so captivating and so precious, it puts a fire in me. Because this journey's been hard. I know there's a lot of things that I could have done, should have done, would have done, had I had the time, the money, the resources. This bit of hair is just absolutely not going to stay where I want it. But I'm the one in charge of that. I'm the one in charge of doing what I want to do. The odds may be stacked against the arts. Just as a general rule, people want things for free. People and readers want things cheaply. People will pirate the books. People will take copies and share it with their friends, which is amazing. But the world is not set up to pay artists a living wage. So I am dedicating myself to helping these artists thrive, to helping these authors thrive, by practicing and by experimenting with my own books. My goal is to create a trust or a business of some kind, a non-for-profit, that is going to feed authors. It is going to pay for the wages of Australian authors annually. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know the numbers. I know the numbers. There's approximately 3,000-ish authors in Australia. It's generally around 1% of a population that feel that deep calling to be an author. When I was a child, there was no career path set to be an author. That people told you to be a journalist or an English teacher. And I was like, that does not say author. I know you need life experience, but that's not a direct path. My goal is that when someone goes through high school, that they'll be able to take a university course or a course from this trust, and then they would be able to go onto a salary, and all they have to do is write and maybe a few marketing exercises that are part of a contract. That's it. And they'd get training in everything. They'd also get the training to make sure that when they are thriving, that they can give back to their community, that they can take things and go on their own, and they would retain all of the rights to their own books. This is such a deep-seated calling within me to help the arts of Australia in particular. If I can go global, I absolutely would, but that's a much bigger task. I would love for all stories to be told, for important stories to be told, for unimportant stories to be told. Because for me, those stories, and I think for everyone, the stories that aren't being told because they're being held back by poverty is devastating. These are voices and these are tales, fantasy, fiction, memoir, contemporary, all of these things. They're not being told because someone is in some form of poverty, that they can't just pursue being an author as their dream. They can't follow their calling. And I won't stand for that any longer. So my commitments are to work on this, to work on how I can help authors get back as much time as possible, and to make sure that I do my own writing. Because unless I'm writing myself, I can't help anyone else. I have nothing to experiment with, and I have nothing to continue to exercise the market with if I'm not dedicated to that. So stay in this space, and I think soon you will start to see a lot more changes in the industry and just in me as a person. Thank you for the Tony Robbins team and for Mum for purchasing the ticket. I know it is, what does that clock say? 3 o'clock in the morning to 3:30 in the morning? 3:30 in the morning. 4 days of waking up at midnight and staying up past midday have been astonishing. They've been rejuvenating, they've been energizing, and I can't wait for next year. We've still got a bit more, but I made a commitment that I would do this video in the break. So that commitment's done. I'm going to have a snack, and I'm going to crack back on in it. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again, my lovelies.